Hi guys, burnout culture here. Something a little bit different today. We're just basically setting off towards direct deals or leads deals, whichever you want to call it. Apologies if you can't hear. I hope the sound's okay, by the way. Never done this before, so it's all trial and error as usual. Just hoping it's I'm using mine's gone blank now. I'm using a GoPro bracket, and I'm using a pretty crappy old Sony camcorder, so it's not ideal. Hopefully, so I've got it on the side window, obviously, so I'm hopefully going to get something along the lines of a GoPro anyway for these excursions videos. Well, hopefully it's not too bad. So yeah, it's gonna be a separate video to the actual in-shop footage, and I just want to, as we drive over there, I just want to talk about a slightly different topic. Still gaming related, still very much gaming related, but it's also, I've seen a few videos this week whereby it struck a chord with me, certainly very much so with my sort of in line with my personality. So I've got a very addictive personality, and by that, anyone that's slightly unsure by what I mean by that is, it doesn't mean I'm addicted to anything per se. I'm not addicted to it. Don't do drugs or anything like that. It's nothing dodgy. It's not an illness or anything like that. It just means that I can get involved in certain things and subjects very quickly, all in 110%, and sometimes all it means is I have to be aware of it and I have to rein myself in, or it can become quite expensive and tricky to manage very quickly without even realising it. So obviously, being a game collector, this comes into play, this sort of addictive personality. Now, where it ties in with some things that I've been reading and watching on YouTube this week is, obviously in the title of my own channel is Burnout Culture. Now you can have, I know Gemma has mentioned this before, whereby you can get gaming burnout, whereby you just almost in a way get sick of it, to do with everything to do with it, like the money side of it, the sheer expense of it, the stress of trying to find the games you want, the stress of constantly being outbid and being almost in a way, in a sense, being forced to pay more than what you wanted to pay. And it all has an impact psychologically on you over time. And I think sometimes, the main one that springs to mind, Sneztastic, I think about 12 months ago, where he were done with the gaming side of it, the collecting, Super NES, were just costing so much money to collect, and then you get yourself into this cycle whereby you sell everything on, and then you quickly realise that wasn't the best thing to do, and then you start buying all the games back again, and you get into a vicious cycle. And the other side of that as well, not just the monetary side. So forget about the monetary side of things. It's, for me, the hassle I have, like I say in my game room tour, it's just a small room, so it's a space issue for me, the collecting side of gaming, and obviously my girlfriend is constantly on my case. It's taking too much room up, and quite frankly, she views game collecting as hoarding. Now, I just wondered, other guys out there, I mean, mine's a tiny collection in comparison to a lot of you guys out there, with the, you know, what I call hardcore collectors, where you literally, you know, you're almost going for complete collections, like Tootie when he had his, I don't know if he's still got that actually, I would like to answer that too if you can, if you still got your I think how you described it, 99% complete Master System collection. I wonder if you'd still got that's almost complete collection. But guys like yourselves that are like, you know, hardcore collectors, does the space side of it really come into play? Do you ever sit down and think to yourselves, is this borderline hoarding? You know, we've all admitted that from time to time we're buying games just to have in the collection. We're not necessarily gonna, you know, anytime soon get around to playing them. I mean, I've got God knows how many games that I'll play on the 12th and ever. You know, potentially I could die of old age before I get around to playing them. There's got to be other people out there that's, you know, the same. I know Gemma said the same in her videos. There's games that you just do not get around to playing, but it's almost in your mind, the back of your mind, when you're buying these games and you're acquiring them, you need them in your collection. There's a slight, you know, I need to have it in there, even though, you know, if you're being honest with yourselves, you're thinking, will I ever actually get to play these games? Who knows? Probably not. Now, I just wondered how other people's take on it. You know, I question it. I've offloaded my whole, I'll be honest with you, I've offloaded my whole collection before, once or twice. I mean, I'm new to YouTube, but I'm not new to gaming. I'm not new to gaming collecting. Like I say, I were collecting Super NES from launch. I were collecting Mega Drive from launch. I've had just about, you know, every title there is to own, and I've got rid of them, got them back, got rid of them, but they always get to this stage at some point in the collection where I'll sit down and I think, oh my god, I can't deal with the amount of space that it's taking up. I can't deal with what it looks like volume wise. It almost looks horrific sometimes, and I always question my own sanity on it and think, what am I doing? Is it ridiculous? It's clearly not ridiculous, because there's so many other people doing it, and I just wonder if they've got the same sort of personality collecting wise as me, this addictive personality whereby, you know, you're both feet in, you can't stop till you get to a certain point where you're happy with your collections, and I don't know whether I'll ever get over that. There's always a twinge in the back of my mind that's always telling me, this is ridiculous, he's taking up too much money, too much space, you know, grow up, get rid of it all. And then another pang comes on it's almost like having a devil on one shoulder, angel on the other, and then, you know, you're laying in the other side of your mind, no, don't do that, you'll regret it as soon as you get rid of it. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people the world over now heavily into game collecting. We know the popularity is on the increase, not the decline, but I don't know. It's something. All I'm trying to say is it's something that's always plagued me, game collecting wise, and it'd be nice if other people were to be in the same boat with it. You know, it'd be nice to hear that they've gone through it as well. I just don't know. I mean, the thing is, I've got a friend at work, and he collects. He's not a game collector, but he collects things like Star Wars figures, all things Star Wars, Action Man, all that, Action Force and all the rest of it. And he's sort of gone through it, whereby in a sense that takes up even more space, because he's quite anal about having everything on display, and he has these 12-inch figures that have to be all displayed in glass cabinets. Luckily for him, he lives in quite a large house, but he has to take everything off these shelves and dust it all. He's really sort of anal about everything looking spick and span continuously. It's almost like a museum that no one ever really gets to see, a museum piece in his house. But it's all for his own benefit, which is good. But he's got to the stage before where he's offloaded whole collections as well, and so he's gone through it with that. But in a sense, gaming, I don't know, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one for me. I'd like to think it's not hoarding. I don't use that word lightly, because it's not a nice word to use, hoarding. It's not really hoarding. It's a collection, a nostalgic collection. And I think if I do strip back again, it'd probably be, and just maybe purely look at the systems that I actually played on, as opposed to things like PS2, just the things that are really nostalgic to me. Maybe I should sometimes think about just going back to that. Maybe that's what I should do, but who knows? You just can't help think to yourself, all the money that you've and time and effort that you've invested into acquiring these games, that are getting harder and harder. It won't get any easier to get them. Certainly won't get any cheaper. You just think to yourself, I can't go through the trauma. It is actually trauma of offloading, selling on the whole collection. Just don't think I'd have the strength to do it again. And anyone that can do that for whatever reason is a brave person. So excuse me. Certainly this time round, I'd find it extremely hard. But like I say, I mean, you look at some of these game collectors the world over. They got a guy in Australia with, and the guy in the US, I forget his name now, with a beard. He's probably got to have one of the largest collections in the world, I'd say. They must have really understanding wives that are, they're in it with, and they understand. And I'd put the question to Steve Benway. I'd said, with all his systems that are on display, and now it clearly takes up quite a bit of room. I mean, that's another thing. It's okay having games, but when you're collecting systems as well, they're taking up even more room. You just think. And he said he was quite open and honest about it. He says, yeah, I've got a really understanding wife. I'm lucky to have a really understanding wife that gets where I'm coming from with collecting. I don't have that. I'm not that lucky. She calls me bedroom mould, and we have a laugh about it. But she puts up with it. Is the best way to put it. She puts up with it. But I sometimes think, I wonder how far I could push her with the size of my collection. I mean, I don't know, maybe a bigger house is the answer. Who knows? But we'll see. So I'm just pulling onto the street now, where direct deals is. I'm going to attempt to park up. I'll probably film the shop footage with my phone, because I can't. Obviously, I'm not going to take this huge camcorder in, so hopefully I'll get the footage on my phone. That's providing it's not busy again, and we might have to leave it. We might have to leave it another time, but I'll attempt it, and hopefully I'll and then I'll excuse me, I'll upload that video separately. I'll see what it's got. I might even make another cheeky purchase in the shop. There's a PS2 game that I'm after. If you can just give me a slight reduction on it, but we'll see. So it wasn't really a rant. I didn't want this video to come across as a rant, and it isn't. It's just it's just to put a question out there to other guys and gals who collect games in the gaming sort of fraternity, and I just wondered if they've thought the same thing from time to time and what their take on it is. I'm certainly nowhere near the point of jacking it all in myself. Not this time, but I just wanted to get the point across that there's always that almost tingle in the back of your mind, thinking you're quite questioning yourself as to whether it's the right thing to do. But hey, we've all got to be into something. I don't smoke. Okay, I do drink, but my money sort of, it's a hobby. My money's I pay my bills. I'm not in any debt. It's it's disposable income, as it were. So it's not like I'm I'm using the bills aren't getting paid just to fund further game purchase. It's not like that. So there's disposable income there. I work hard, but who knows? I guess it's each to their own, isn't it? Everyone's going to have a different opinion on whether it's a right or wrong thing. So anyway, rant over. I'm going to get in the shop because time's cracking on as usual, and I'll thanks for watching and listening to me babble on. Sorry if the quality of the video wasn't right clever, but hopefully it didn't detract too much. And I'll see you soon, guys. And just one little note to add as well. Thanks so much for all the new subs that I've had over the last 2 weeks. I know predominantly it was on the back of Cornus Deloro's fantastic shout out for me. I appreciate that so much. I'll buy him a pint when I see him. But thanks so much for you guys, all the new subs, and I'm going to try and keep uploading relevant content and exciting content and keep you guys interested. So, right, take it easy, guys. See you soon.